Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. So let's get into this article that I came across. It's a woman that says she's a single mom, but she don't date single dads. So let's find out why she does this. Because you look on the internet, got a lot of these people with these blogs and YouTube channels, Instagram, TikTok, which will probably be gone here pretty soon. Talk about people got standards and people got options. And you have a lot of these women who want certain guys and they want certain men who don't have kids, and they want a man like who make a certain amount of money, this and the third, who don't want to have kids. She may give him one more child, maybe, which means she ain't gonna do it, and she'll probably be forced to do it. And you don't want a woman who is forced to have a child because in the end, it's not gonna turn out right for none of you. And I don't understand how they come up with this criteria. They could be single mom, probably have multiple baby daddies, but yet want a man who don't have no kids. It don't make sense. Now, I've seen the guy. I know the guy. Actually, I think he was a preacher, matter of fact, who had two sons. I don't know if it was I guess it was from a previous marriage. And then when he got married to his wife, his current then, I haven't seen the guy in years. I think she wanted kids, but he said, no, I said, my sons are enough. And I'm like, that's probably a conversation they should have had before they got married, So a lot of people say, get you some marriage counseling ahead of time. But anyway, let's get back to the story. This is from businessinsider.com, and it reads, I'm a single mom. I date, but I don't date single dads. Why not? Let's see. Nicola Prentice has been a single mom to two sons for 5 years. When she started dating again, she found herself to be too judgmental of single dads. She has quit using dating apps and goes out mainly with men who aren't fathers. My take on dating apps, I think they shouldn't be used because you don't know what's out there. I think that that's a problem with the world. I believe that most people should do like the old days and you meet face to face, you talk to people, because when you talk to people, you get to know them better than you do online. Because online, on apps, I can read a comment, give me time to come up with a good answer, a good rebuttal, and then I'll send it back to you. When I'm in front of you, things can be like ping, 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 ping. And somebody asks you something, you got to answer, and vice versa. And then y'all get to talk, you get to know each other. People talk enough, they'll tell on themselves. They'll tell you can see expressions. You can kind of tell motives. If somebody's genuine or not, you can tell that better in front of that person than on a dating app. So it says, quote, I was away for a month, home for a month, end quote. He said on our first off the app coffee date, recounting the end of his marriage. So I guess he's quoting the guy that she was dating, that she went out on a date with. He was a nice guy in good shape and attractive, but he had kids, and the judgment words flew out of my mouth before I could think to soften them. How was that conducive to fatherhood and the relationship? Why is she single? I want to see if it says why she's single in the first place. I couldn't stop myself from judging single dads. My ex had also been away with work all the time, leaving me to do the lion's share of raising our two young children. I had to adjust my life and work around his work. I hear a feminist in this article right now. I hear someone who's probably a housewife, whose husband worked, paid the bills, making sure you're taken care of, and yet you're at home for some reason miserable. I said in the previous video that people's idea of a traditional wife, I believe is not the right ideal of a wife's true role. Because if you go to the scriptures, it tells you basically what is basically what a wife should be, a virtuous wife should be. And nowhere in the scripture does it say a wife just stays home and takes care of the kids. Matter of fact, it says that you have like maid servants to take care of the kids. Now, you probably think you can't afford no maid and this and third. Okay, I understand. That's fine. But as we say down here in the South and in the country, that's what you have kids for, so they can do some work, so people can, do work around the house. It's like take care of, big house, farms, this and the third, yard work, inside work, got to keep it clean, this and the third. What you have kids for, to take the load off yourself. But anyway, a virtuous wife, number one, like I say, don't sit in the house all day looking at kids, taking care of kids. She's also out working in the fields, like I say, buying land, selling garments, this and the third, making it say how she buy these lands with her own money. This is in the scriptures. So it's like, you're not at home just being a housewife. That is, to me, I would think is a miserable life, because as a person, you have a purpose. And as a person, the world is too big. It's too much air. It's too much beauty out here. Too much, grass, land, for you to sit in a house every day, all day, and do nothing. And it's possible for you to do it because you can get bored, you can get lazy and just sit around, lay around, watch TV all day. It can happen, eating corn chips. I understand. But you got to get out. You got to do things. So if you got these women out here who want to sell, shea butters and candles, at vendor events and farmers markets, should go do it. But you're getting out the house, you're doing something, you're doing your own thing. But again, you also got to make sure the house is taken care of. So the way she's talking is almost like, but then you're supposed to be a help meet for the husband. So whatever the husband is doing, whatever he's got going in his life, hopefully it's a career or a business, you got to make sure that he's good, so that way he can provide for you. I think we do it backwards nowadays. We want a man who has everything, but you want him to have everything. But how did he get everything? He got everything. If he got it without you, which means he's going to continue to do what he got to do to keep everything. And you got to understand, you knew what he was when you met him, or you knew what drive he had or what goals he had. You had to prepare for that. And when those goals were met and he was on that path and he was able to take off and do what he wanted to do, you can't get upset with that, because you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Let's just say, had to adjust my life and work around his work. Well, that's what you're supposed to do for your husband. You're supposed to adjust around what he had to do, because he's supposed to be, if not the breadwinner, but the main breadwinner. It was clear I could never see this guy again. This date was bringing up resentment on behalf of a woman I'd never even met. I ignored his text to meet up again. Well, he probably saved that man. Then there was another guy I got on well with. He was chatty and fun, but he had a daughter who he had 50-50 custody of, and saw himself as a stable, less chaotic parent who had clear routines. Maybe it was true, but I couldn't see beyond the things my ex probably said about me in our custody situation. At the time, I was fighting against losing 50% of my time with my children, and it stirred up panic and loss for me. I never had a second date with the guy either. I don't know. I'm going to assume that she's in America right now. That's the problem with your courts. See, you got to think about what the man is thinking, because me being, a former child support, what do you want to call it, participant, the courts told me. Now, here's what the court really said. The court said, I can have my daughter every other weekend, and on like Thursday night, Friday, some crap like that, which is crazy, because we live so far, live through traffic that when I got off work, kids got out of school, my ex get out of work or whatever, it's damn near impossible to go pick my youngin' up every Thursday just to go out for dinner and then take her back home, because Dallas traffic is ridiculous. Now, it would probably have been feasible if she would have stayed where she was living at first, which was like not even a couple miles up the road, straight shot, not a lot of traffic, it's probably possible. But when she moved into Dallas, like I already said it, she moved into Dallas, you know what I'm saying, in a busiest part of Dallas, and I'm living way up north, it's a little harder for me to do that. And then every other weekend, I'm like, man, that's not fair because I haven't done anything to her or my kids to warrant being, you know what I'm saying, to being restricted to seeing my children. But then they said, but if you want to, you know, do other things in an agreement, that'll be up to y'all. But the court says this is what the court will allow. Anything else is going to be up to y'all, some whatever kind of agreements y'all make. Basically, do what you want to, but make sure you pay that child support. So for a father to even get 50-50 custody in court, I'm sure he had to fight for that. Had to fight for 50-50 custody of children. And she is so scared of losing 50% of her. But you wasn't scared of losing 50% of your husband or 100% of your husband. I don't see anything about abuse. See, when you do stories like this, man, I got to hear a backstory because I'm going to start assuming. I don't think he was abusive. You said you hated that he worked all the time. Okay, so you wasn't afraid of losing all of your husband. I'm sure you're probably getting money from him because you had a child. And if it's 50-50, then there's no child support. Really? So basically, it's like, okay, well, they can split time, which is good because it shouldn't be no child support. It's 50-50. You take care of the kids when you got them. I take care of them when I got them. I like that. But again, that's something that even a lot of guys had to fight for with that. And women don't want to get rid of it, but because they don't want to get rid of it because if they get, because they don't want to, agree with the 50-50, because if they agree with that, then like I say, the child support could be cut out. But if they can get full custody where you get visitations, the women get child support and the courts get more money. Even a single dad who'd moved 4 hours away from his children and only saw them over school holidays wasn't right for me. What kind of father moves that far away from his kids? You don't say why he moved. It could have been a job. There are different reasons. Now, me, I wouldn't agree with that. I don't know the situation. That's one thing that as a father, I would have never done. I don't think I would have ever done was move that far away from my kids if they're still growing up and if I'm still in their life on damn near a daily basis. Can't do it. Now, I know some guys who probably would do that if the mother was just a hellion. Wouldn't allow, if he had to fight to see his kids, fight to get visitation, paying child support, going through hell with the mother. I could see a guy say, man, I quit. I'm gone. I see the kids when I see the kids. And they move because it's like, it's too much. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's too much, but that's an extreme, that's an extreme answer. You know what I'm saying? Extreme conclusion to what's going on, extreme choice. But I could see somebody, a man doing that. Men with children couldn't win. They can't. Not with the courts and not with you, it seems. If they had equal custody, I felt like they were the enemy. What? I didn't want to think about my own sons being taken away from me. If they spent less time with their children, I had a negative reaction to that too. Your problem is you should have stayed with your husband. That's what you saying. Basically, what you saying is that these men should have found a way to stay with their wives. So we ain't got to sit there and worry about who got to spend time for the kids. Because my thing is here, you got two boys. Contrary to popular belief or more, whether you like it or not, them boys need to see their daddy a whole lot more than they need to see you. They need to see your confused self. Because like you said, your ex had more structure and plans and stuff like that. Well, you just probably just, you know what I'm saying, just go off by how you feel. And you have, them boys need to see their daddy more than they see you. I started dating men without children. The answer for me has been to date men without children. I found this to be easier as I only have time to date when my children are with their father. I'm not looking for someone to be a father to my children. I have no desire to mix those two worlds. So you just trying to get out there for them streets. That's what it seemed like you saying. Seeming like you saying that you for the streets. You just want to get out there, you know what I'm saying, get them cakes clapped a few times when your kids are gone. And then when they come back home, you're like, okay, hey, how you doing, sons? Great. So you'll let your kids go to their dad's house to date to do some unimaginable things, but he can't have, you know what I'm saying? He can't have, you don't want him to have 50-50 custody. That's crazy. But you know what? That makes sense. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because it's funny to be a weekend and they mothers are quick to drop them kids off at your house real quick. But when it's your weekend, you know, it's like they worried about what you doing. You know what I'm saying? Things like that nature. Who you dating, all that kind of stuff. Nah, you know what I'm saying? No. But it said had time with their father. That's crazy. Navigating dating apps as a single mother was tricky at first. The app didn't require me to mention my children. I didn't. Instead, I would bring them only up when it was relevant, which sometimes meant I never heard from my date again because nobody really wants to date a single mother with little children. They really don't. They might want to clap them cakes, but they don't really want to just, you know, settle down, meet your kids, become a stepdaddy, step baby daddy, whatever. And, you know what I'm saying, to help putting money in your pocket for your kid. They really don't want to do that. Which is why a lot of these people, a lot of these women are deceptive. Just like she said, she don't even mention the kids, which I've seen that, you know, it's jacked up. If you love your kids so much, then what you hiding them for? What you hiding them for? You're trying to date, but you don't want to get married. You don't want to mix the two. So just tell them, why don't you just tell the men what, like what I see? Hey, I got kids, but I ain't trying to settle down. I'm just trying. But you know what? The problem is you probably got men who are trying to settle down. You probably at the age where you meeting men who want to have their own family, who want to settle down and have children of their own and create families. But you got a ready-made family. He don't want that. He wants his own legacy. Man, I know a dude who like in his 40s right now who ain't got no kids. This dude talking crazy like he was trying to find a woman to have his children. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no strings attached. He said, you know, they'll be taken well care of, this, that, and the third. He just want to have a kid. It's a legacy thing. It's a legacy thing. I understand that. You know, you get to a certain age, into a certain mentality and a certain mortality. It's legacy. You don't want to just die and don't leave nothing behind. Hell, probably his mama's probably saying, hey, I want grandkids. Like your grandkids, not your stepkids that you got. You know, so that's probably how they thinking. She say, so I tried not to mention the kids at all to see if that worked better, but it was weird and uncomfortable and my story just didn't add up. Why was I living in a city where I didn't have many friends and in an apartment that was more expensive than a single person would normally rent? I went back to mentioning being a mother. Dating men without children has been less complicated. Some run a mile at the first whiff of children. Others stick around and have no problem with it. I've met some men who were brought up by the single mothers who gave them respect for my setup. A few have had complex relationships with their own mothers and are drawn to the nurturing side I've developed since becoming one myself. But you're selfish though. On my breaks from motherhood, I'm also free from the constant issues and tension that can come from having an ex who has to remain present in my life. In that more carefree mode on my days off, the last thing I want to deal with is someone else's ex, even if it's just hearing about them. I don't understand the dating market, but one thing I know I try to never, ever, ever really do is bring up any ex, anything that I did with ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, something like that. That's just, don't need to talk about it because it's not relevant now. I got children, yes. About this woman, yes. And might mention her, she might be mentioned in context with them, but as just say, hey, oh man, we used to do this, we used to do that, we have fun, couldn't stand, blah, blah, blah. Nah, all that ain't necessary, man. Unless, like I said, unless it's just necessary, unless it is necessary, unless it is necessary to the conversation, but most of the time I'm not bringing that up. I don't like mentioning, I don't like talking about my past to nobody. In the 5 years since I've been single, I'd say, and you've been single 5 years and you can't get it straight, you need to get back to your husband. In the 5 years since I've been single, I'd say a third of the guys I've been interested in have been single dads and 2/3 have not. All of them knew I had children. After deleting dating apps from my phone a few years ago, these days I only date men I'm already friends with, even if they live in other countries. Some of them have already met my sons. I make it a point to keep romantic side of things for my off-duty days. That's another thing that's hypocritical to me. Women do not want you to introduce y'all's kids to your woman. They do not. But yet, they will introduce y'all's kids to a dude they're talking to. And will just claim that's a friend. It's a friend of mine. This, and that's it. But if they hear any stories about you bringing a woman around them kids, boy, they raise holy hell. Interesting, the non-fathers is just as hard to make plans with as the dads because they're equal busy, albeit with travel, hobbies, and friends, and not looking after kids. I've found they tend to be into more casual relationships than single dads who often seem to be searching for a life partner. So what in the heck do you want? Can somebody explain it to me? Tell me what I'm missing. What is this woman looking for? What kind of man she want? Because you see what you're getting. You either gonna have men who ain't settled down and ain't trying to settle down and definitely ain't gonna settle down with somebody else's kids, or men who are single and got kids, but they're more focused, they're more grounded, and they ain't looking for no bullcorn. They ain't looking for somebody, life partner, a wife. Forget a life partner. Call it a wife. Good Lord. This modern mess, this LGBT, LMNOP type stuff, get them out the nerves. Motherhood demands a lot of my time and attention. So less intense relationships suit me better than at this point in my life. Like I said, you trying to be for them streets. I like not having to talk about where the relationship is going, how we could one day blend our families and juggle exes. You just trying to juggle. Never mind. Single motherhood is complicated. I prefer my dating life to be simple. The simplest thing you can do is go back to your husband. Get some counseling, figure out what went wrong, and get your family back together for them boys can have their daddy. Them boys don't need no stepdaddy if their daddy is in their life. Now, you ain't said nothing bad about this dude except that he worked. And he worked a lot and left you home alone to take care of the house duties. So as a single, if that's the only thing that you bringing up, I got a question. What are you doing now? That's different than what you was doing when you had a husband. Except now you are paying bills that you saying that most single people would not buy because it's going to cost more to live there as a single person of a normal single person. So you're paying an astronomical rate of rent for you and your sons. And now you're still doing the majority of the household duties. And if your sons are like 5 years older than when you were married, does it say how old her boys are? Let me see. I don't remember seeing that. No. But what I'm going to assume is they're at least anywhere from 5 to 10 years old, give or take. So really, if you got a kid that's old enough, shoot, it's even more work because boys, like y'all try to say, you got to clean up after them. Boys going to be in activities. You don't want to sit in the house all the dang on time doing nothing because boys need to exert energy. Remember, boys, we be outside playing, outside exploring, outside doing dangerous stuff, getting all the energy out of us. Because if we don't, the next thing you know, you're going to be putting us on Ritalin, talking about we got ADHD and we can't keep still in class, but we sitting in an apartment all day. But instead of you figuring out how to get that marriage right, you were frustrated because you was at home most of the time taking care of the household duties. And he was out making money, busting tail, and making sure that his sons and his wife was taken care of. Heifer, make some sense out of that. Like, seriously, this is, like I said, feminist woman that listened to her little single friends who said she probably deserved better. She could do more and better than him because he out there, leaving you at home alone with the kids, but you want everything. You ain't say he didn't take care of your needs. You didn't say anything about him being abusive. You didn't say anything about him cheating. You didn't say none of that. You just said the man worked too much. And that pissed you off. So now you out here judging other men based on a decision you made by becoming a divorced wife. Man, get out of here. Anyway, tell me what y'all think about this story. Y'all leave your comments below. Let's dialogue. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do here. Hey, support the channel also. There are 4 ways you can support the channel that don't cost you a dime. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. It won't take maybe like a couple minutes out your day, but if you do want to support monetarily, you can get super thanks, super chat, link, or go down to the description box. The links in the description box, and you can click on to help support the channel too. But however you support, man, I thank you. I appreciate it no matter what. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.